Hi everybody, I'm Ella Royanti Ruslan, the chairperson of Pertubuhan Suara Kreatif Kesenian Generasi Muda, or in English we call Voice of Young and Creative Minds Organizations. Let me speak in Malaysian language for the introduction before I begin the conversation with our special guest today. Tajuk perbincangan kita pada hari ini ialah mengenai kepentingan bidang penyiaran. Panel jemputan kita merupakan pemenang Emmy Award sebanyak 6 kali dan 2 kali untuk Outstanding on Camera Talent, dan pihak Associated Press menggelarkan beliau sebagai Outstanding Reporters. Beliau ialah Mr.Manny Ramos yang merupakan Jurulatih Pengamal Media dan juga Bekas Wartawan. Baiklah, tanpa membuang masa, kita mulakan temu bual dan pastinya temu bual ini sangat menarik. Hi Mr. Manny Ramos, how are you?
I'm well, Ella. How are you?
I'm good. Please introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Manny Ramos. I'm a veteran broadcaster. I was on television for more than 40 years, doing reporting, anchoring, news presenting, interviewing, talk show host. And now I retired from broadcasting and became an instructor, a teacher. I was Ella's instructor at one time, and I teach on-camera technique. I teach young people from all around the world how to be on camera and how to present themselves, how to look and sound their best. I also, besides teaching at the Academy of Art here in San Francisco, I also lecture at San Jose State University to master's students, business administration students, where I teach them how to present themselves and look and sound their best. I do that at San Jose State, and I was doing that at the University of San Francisco. Besides that, I have my own company. I'm a media consultant. I teach executives of big corporations how to look and sound their best when they're doing interviews with the media, and how to look and sound their best when they're on television. So I have a very full life, a very busy life. Right now I'm doing all of those things, but I'm doing them with COVID restrictions. So most of it's being done at home. This is my office outside of the city of San Francisco. I would say about 10 minutes north of the Golden Gate Bridge. So I live in Marin County right now, and I'm very happy to be here.
Okay, thank you, sir. Tell us how to get into the broadcast industry.
Well, it's always best, I think, to try to get a degree in broadcasting so that you can get some kind of training. Then the best thing to do is to try to get an internship with a television station, a production company. Try to get your foot, what we call in the United States, get your foot in the door. Try to get into the door there. And then learn as much as you can, and then work your way up little by little, and try to get in that way. It's a very competitive business, and so the best thing to do is to start small, learn as much as you can on the job, and then once, if you want to be on camera as much as you possibly can, and so work that way. But again, first thing, go to school, get a broadcasting degree, learn from professionals, get that first job, and take any job you can in broadcasting and kind of get your foot in the door and work your way up.
What does a broadcast media producer do?
Well, the producer does everything. I often say things, I think I told Ella this when she was in my class, that a producer is the hardest job in broadcasting, because the producer has to oversee everything. They have to be involved in the writing of the program, the shooting of the program and video, hiring the talent, and then overseeing the editing, and finally the overall production. If anything goes wrong in a production, it is the producer's fault. So it could be a videographer didn't have the right camera, didn't have the right lights, had some problem with the sound. doesn't matter. That's the producer's fault. The producer had to overlook that, had to be in charge of that. The editing, everything is done that way. So it's a very hard job. It is, I've often told people, it is the hardest job in broadcasting. But it's also the job that has the person who is the most talented and the hardest working. So producers are pretty good. And right now, because of that, producers are pretty well paid. They have a lot of power. So if you are a strong person who can lead people and make decisions quickly, I would suggest that you become a producer.
How to brand and market ourselves as a broadcast media professional?
Well, as a broadcast media professional, the first thing you have to do is to always make sure that people know your name. Number one, it's the biggest thing. So whenever you introduce yourself, say your name. Whenever you're on camera, say your name. Have it that way, first of all. And then you have to get into social media. Social media is huge for a broadcast professional now, because it can bring in viewers. And so you have to be very lively on social media. You have to use all of your talents you can. I would suggest that you get a name for your social media. It not only says what your name is, but it kind of hints at what you do. So in my case, it would be something like Manny TV, Manny on camera, something like that kind of goes there. But the first thing you have to do is to get on social media, and you have to work every day. Produce something every day and put it on social media. If you're a videographer, shoot something every day. It'll be short, put it on. If you're an editor, edit something every day, put it on. If you're talent, do something on camera every day, put it on there. If you're talent, same way, do something. You have to work at it. You have to get your name out there. You have to get ready and put your name out there and put your product out there so that people can see it.
And does broadcast TV still working nowadays?
It does, but it's not as influential as it used to be, right? Much of broadcast journalism and broadcasting, a lot of the product it uses, shows up on social media. The clips you see on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media outlets you have in Malaysia, almost a lot of them come from broadcasting, because those are people who are out shooting every day and doing things. So it still works, it still sets that up, but it's not as influential as it used to be. It used to be that here in the United States, let's say, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, families would sit down at a certain time and watch the news or watch programs together. Well, they don't do that anymore. They watch programs all day long on their computers, on their phones, on their tablets. So there's no real core audience for broadcasting right now. Much of the core audience is old, and those people are dying. So that is going down. But broadcasting will still be around. It'll be around for another generation at least. So it's still a good job. There's something you can get involved in.
Now, what can the student do with a broadcast degree?
You can do all kinds of things. It's just a great degree, because it's basically a communications degree, advanced communications. And when I work with large corporations, the biggest problem they have is some of their leading people don't know how to communicate to other people. They don't know how to express themselves, how to say something in a very simple and direct way. I'll give you an example. Mark Zuckerberg, who brilliant man, started Facebook. He is terrible on camera. He is a terrible communicator. He doesn't know how to get a direct answer to anything. So if you get a broadcast degree, it will help you immensely in business. As I said, I lecture to master's students who are in the business administration, who are getting master's degree in business administration, I lecture to them how to communicate because they don't learn that. They know a lot about business, but they don't know how to communicate. People who can communicate move very quickly in the business world and move very quickly throughout any kind of industry. So the broadcast degree works really, really well. And you should be able to get it. And even if you don't go into broadcasting or don't go into production, you can use it all the time.
What skill do we need to become a broadcast media professional?
What do you need? Okay, the first skill you need is bravery, courage, because you have to get in front of a camera. You have to get in front of people and talk. So you've got to say to yourself, you have to have that courage, that self-confidence to do what you want to do. It's hard. That's the first thing you need. The second thing you need to do is to be able to write and write effectively, because you're not only going to write things out when you're in broadcasting, you have to think about what you're going to say if you're going to say it out loud. So you need to know how to write. If you're going to get into the videography phase or the editing, you have to have a little bit of artistic talent in your area, something to see something. If you're a videographer, you have to be able to see a picture and know, I'm going to shoot that. It's going to be effective in how to do it. If you're an editor, you have to know how to tell a story by cutting it up. So there's a lot of talent. There is a lot of talent involved in broadcasting. And that talent, you don't have to be overwhelmingly talented. You just have to have a little bit of talent. And then you have to develop it. I always tell people that broadcasting is a trade more than a talent, in that it's a trade, like being a carpenter, knowing how to build a home. Learn it, learn how to do it. So that's what you have to do. You have to be courageous and you have to be determined, because it's hard to get a job and succeed in broadcasting.
So what advantages become the broadcast media?
The advantages are that you are on a cutting edge of something. I mean, even if you're doing television, you still are now, well, like I said before, a lot of television shows up on social media. And a lot of people who are working in social media right now come from television. They come from a broadcast background. They're the ones who can tell a story very quickly and get to a point very quickly. They have a good sense of what people are interested in or what they would be interested in. So it's a real advantage. I mean, you can really use it. You can use it in every phase of life these days, because so many people get most of their information and are on their phones or their tablets. That's just a little television. That's what it is. And so you can really develop a talent and move into that area very quickly.
What advice would you give to youth and young Malaysians who want to become a broadcast media professional?
Well, I would tell them right now that they have a lot of advantages over people my age when I wanted to get in broadcasting. When I wanted to get into broadcasting, I had to really get into a TV station to begin with to find out if I could be good on camera, because cameras were big, they were expensive. I didn't have a studio in my house. Every young Malaysian has a studio in their hand. They have the phone, they can shoot. I always tell students now that every day they should get their phone and they should shoot something. Now you can edit on your phone. Every day you can be on camera and do something. I said, when you're walking down the street, if you see something interesting, shoot it. If you want to be on camera, stand in front of it and talk about it. And then practice. There's only one way to get good at broadcasting. That is to do it every day. And you can do it every day on your phones. So young Malaysians, go out there, work, start developing your talent and put things together. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manny, for spending your time with us. Hope to see you again in the future. And baiklah, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, banyak informasi yang menarik yang kita dapat kali ini daripada Mr. Manny. Semoga kita berjumpa lagi di sesi yang akan datang dan pastinya informasi yang lebih menarik lagi yang akan kita kongsikan bersama. Okay, sekian, terima kasih. Bye.
Bye, Ella.
Bye. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're
Good luck.
welcome. Bye. Good luck.
Bye-bye.